We've got Nalin Kohli from the Bharatiya Janata Party. We've got Dr. Syed Nasir Hussain from the Congress. We've got Sandeep Shastri, coordinator at Lokniti. Ramkrishna Upadhyay joins us, and Mahima Singh is with us from the Congress Party. I want to go across to Nalin Kohli first, because Nalin, what is the lesson the Bharatiya Janata Party has learned? I know that there have been lots of deliberations in small unorganized groups, in more structured ways, that the BJP has been having about the lessons from the Karnataka debacle. What is the key takeaway? What will the party try and do differently in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Telangana and Mizoram, which will ensure that what happened in Karnataka doesn't get repeated in the next set of assembly elections? Nalin?
Hello.
Okay. Rahul Srivastav is also with us, our National Affairs Editor. Rahul, this conversation that we were just having with Rajdeep about the ability of Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah to now work together, given all that they've said over the past 4 days against each other, not directly but quite indirectly, but very clear that there are two different camps. Now those two camps come to a cabinet meeting. Will they be practical and be able to work, or will this ultimately become Sachin Gehlot 2.0 and it's only a question of when, not if?
Rahul, I think it will depend on these two men. Over the last 3 days, I think they have sent across a message down till their last denominator, their cadres and supporters, that there is a bit of a competition between them. Now, that cadre and the leaders, will they be competing in the coming days? Will they hold constant show of strength against each other? Will they try to undermine each other? All that they have to decide and then send across a message to their cadres. Today, for example, Mr. DK Shivakumar's soundbite after the compromise formula was reached, and his body language wasn't actually sending a message that he's happy. His brother and several other senior leaders were saying that they are not very happy. I think that needs to be corrected. Once that is corrected, they need to work together and show to the cadres they are working together. Lok Sabha, as I have been saying, that will be a real test, because the BJP has been doing very well even when the BJP was not voted in the assembly. And if the BJP does well again, who takes the blame for it? So what we are talking about 2 years later may arrive much earlier. I think eventually the Congress has taken a big risk, because why I say that, it has not succeeded. This rotational element doesn't work, Rahul. The only last time I saw it working was when the PDP and the Congress were sharing power in Kashmir, and Ghulam Nabi Azad became Chief Minister in 2005. Otherwise, it has not. Even if you see 2011 in Jammu Kashmir, the same state, Omar Abdullah was not ready for a rotational element. The congressmen have not been ready. I think to expect that Mr. Siddaramaiah will do a Garibaldi, pack his bags and leave the Chief Minister's office 2 years, I think then he will be known as a statesman in Congress politics, not a politician.
Nobody leaves the chair. Once they are sitting on the chair, they typically don't leave the chair. Will Siddaramaiah follow the same pattern? Will he be different? We will find out. I want to go across to Nalin Kohli from the Bharatiya Janata Party. It's been a very long time since the BJP has been edged out of the screen, and we've had Congress leaders take over for 4 straight days, and this is not something the modern day BJP is used to, and this is not something the modern day Congress is used to either. Nalin, welcome. What lesson has the Bharatiya Janata Party learned from the debacle of Karnataka? These results are far from what you would have expected or wanted or hoped for. What's the key lesson that you've learned, which you will try and implement to ensure that what happened in Bengaluru doesn't get repeated in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Mizoram and Telangana?
So, thank you, Rahul, for that. We've been around a long time. You and I have been for several years on this side of the screen and that side of the screen. And I think one thing you or Rahul on your panel would appreciate, the BJP has always learned from its defeats. For us, if we have lost an election and if the people have voted for it, we respect that mandate. We accept that mandate because it's a democracy and people ultimately decide who will manage the government or run the government for the next period of time for which they vote. So therefore that is something with humility we accept, but I think as a party we always learn from our mistakes. And that's why the BJP is so formidable in being able to reach out to the people and so fortunate to get the blessings of the people in so many elections at every level, from the local to the state to the national. Now coming to the next issue, that if you look at the election results of Karnataka in its early days, it's fascinating to note that the BJP vote percentage broadly is almost identical to last time. There's a very small percentage difference. Secondly, during the election itself, when we were seeing opinion polls, it seemed to indicate that the leadership issue of Prime Minister Modi was substantially getting even over 8 to 10% over what was being projected as the vote for the state. So I think there are two less important messages here at the first instance. A, while the BJP's vote share has been good, the change of the vote dynamics on the other side, consolidation for the Congress and the collapse of other players, has worked against the BJP. But this also is a very good message that in terms of people saying that our government was terrible and the vote share and that the BJP would be ousted, the numbers are certainly against us, but the vote share doesn't speak the same language. And any psephologist would accept that. The third is, where it remains on Prime Minister Modi and his popularity, that's intact at a record high. There's no one there. Now let's come to the state elections. Again, we've all been there long enough. To extrapolate one state result to another is dangerous. Then if we have to go by that, then let's begin the year with the 3 state results where the BJP has done spectacularly well. Repeated itself in Tripura, in Meghalaya, retained the 2 seats and still incumbent. And in Nagaland, where I was the in charge of Prabhari, we have stayed with our 12 and continue in the government of Chief Minister Rio. Now, if we use that result, then would you say that the BJP nationally is changing and the Congress, which was down and out, getting 0 for the second time in Nagaland, getting 3 seats or 5 seats in Tripura, essentially, how do you read it? So state after state has a different story. So I would say that Karnataka is our loss. We will learn from it. If the Congress is hoping that this is the future for every election that follows, then they perhaps have a nice lesson to learn from Rajasthan, where the power arrangement has actually been a Mahabharat from day one between the 2 leaders.
So let me put that question to Mahima Singh.
To be believed, literally a Mahabharat between the supporters of the 2 leaders.
Sorted out the Mahabharat in Karnataka for the time being. Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah have agreed to work together at this moment. How do you hope to sort out the problem in Rajasthan, where Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot's differences are getting deeper by the passing day? They're making more and more comments against each other. How do you hope to resolve that?
Good evening all. लहर दहलीज पर आई है जब से समंदर खौफ खाने लग गया है. You see, today as we stand united in Karnataka to stand up and to govern the state of Karnataka, the 6.5 crore Kannadigas, with utmost commitment and transparency. You ask me about the Mahabharata, which to us it doesn't exist, it has never existed. And if you were to talk about Rajasthan on a debate about Karnataka, then let's also talk about Manipur, please. And then and if the BJP is to talk about on whose face the South Gate has been slammed and hard, let us also talk about the vote share which has declined in the northeastern states. Nagaland, the BJP spokesperson was just talking about Nagaland. Let me say that their vote share has declined. Himachal Pradesh, they kept on saying that the gap is 0.9%.
It's wrong. 1 minute, sorry, I must correct that. You're way off, Mahima ji. Sorry, I don't interrupt, but that's an incorrect statement. Our vote share has gone up by 3%. No, it's not about the company. You're wrong.
Involved in some of these northeastern elections.
You are entitled to your views, but not
you allow the Congress to at least.
Nalin was involved in some of those elections in the northeast.
I was there for a month.
Not some, 4 of them. 3% is gone up.
For a month.
You're wrong, ma'am. You're wrong.
I am very well aware.
Google just now and check. Sorry, ma'am, you're wrong. Sorry, ma'am, you're not well aware, you're wrong. Check it. No, no, you get your facts right. Everything else is okay. You can have a view, but not an incorrect fact against me.
Is this how we conduct
a debate? Of course, but you can't, madam, come up with an wrong fact.
Okay, I can't have both guests speaking at the same time. Nalin, you made that interjection. Nalin, you made that interjection. Just leave it over there for the time being.
Of course I made it, but it's an incorrect fact. That's all.
Please allow me to complete.
Okay, let Mahima complete. Let Mahima complete.
Of course.
Sir, you are much more seasoned and a veteran. I expect that discipline and regard from
No,
you,
ma'am,
at least
you have your right. Please
for
go
a co-spokesperson, I never interjected, sir. Let me say that I was in Nagaland, day in, day out, we kept challenging, our senior leaders kept challenging the BJP for a debate on UCC.
No, can I just tell our viewers, I just checked this on our data intelligence dashboard. The BJP vote share in Nagaland has gone up. Between 2018 to now, the BJP vote share has gone up in Nagaland. So what you're saying is not factually correct. Okay, okay, one second.
He just said Tripura. He just said Tripura.
You said Nagaland.
I am saying even Nagaland. I mean,
Madam, do your research, please. Okay, one second. I just checked. What you're making this point with so much bombast. What you're saying is not even factually correct. Just turn this down. I want to go. You said Nagaland. The point that you're making, Mahima, just do your research. Prepare harder. Okay, if you're going to come to India today, you want to be on the Newstrack, prepare harder. Your facts are wrong. I want to go across to Nasir Hussain. Nasir Hussain is very close to Mallikarjun Kharge, Member of Parliament of the Rajya Sabha, and he's been involved in all of the pictures that you see at Khargeji's house. You see Nasir Hussain welcoming leaders. In some he's looking happy, in some he's looking a little concerned and anxious. How difficult was it, Nasir bhai, to try and get Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah on the same page? Were you concerned at some point in time in the past 72 hours that maybe you may be able to create some kind of peace, or were you worried कि गड़बड़ तो नहीं हो जाएगी? Can things go wrong after a big victory?
Rahul, I think there was no issue at all. What was being shown on television channels and what was actually happening, there was lots of difference. See, we had such a big victory. There are people, those have worked very hard for the past 2 years. Those have put up a brave front, they have fought the BJP, they have fought the government, they set up a narrative and all.
Nasir bhai, don't give me spin. Nasir bhai, don't give me a spin. Tell me the truth. Listen, one second. In the manner in which Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah were both wrangling for power, it was visible to anybody from the outside that there was serious tension. What was going on in the Kharge camp at that time? Were you concerned that it could get out of hand?
Rahul, not concerned at all, because we know both of them very well. Both of them are true party workers. Both of them led from the front. We were not at all worried. See, there's nothing wrong in somebody having an ambition, somebody having aspiration, somebody want to become chief minister. There's nothing wrong in that. But then finally, one has to become the chief minister. There is Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, who is one of the senior most leaders of Karnataka, who is now the head of AICC. You have Mr. Rahul Gandhi, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, who are all there around. They knew everyone. So it was only, so how do we make whom? See, when two equally important, equally powerful and equally eligible people are there, then it's difficult to make a choice. But then opinions of CL, all the newly elected MLAs were taken, the opinions of senior leaders from Karnataka, opinions from senior leaders in the AICC was taken. And I think yesterday late night, Mr. Khargeji was able to arrive at a consensus, and then CM and Deputy CM.
So does Siddaramaiah get 2 years? Does he get 2.5 years?
Very peacefully it was done.
Does Siddaramaiah get 2 years or 2.5 years?
See, it is as simple as it is. The decision is Mr. Siddaramaiah is the Chief Minister, Mr. DK Shivakumar is the Deputy Chief Minister. He'll continue to be the PCC President, and both of them will govern the state in a consultative manner. Both of
but
them
you're not telling me anything I don't know. Nasir bhai, tell me some stuff our viewers don't know. This is a very official kind of Nasir Hussain that showed up. I was thinking you'll give us more inside information.
This is the decision. Nothing. See,
so Shivakumar has been made no promise.
Rahul, this
so
is
no
the
promise has been made to Shivakumar that he will not be Chief Minister.
See, I don't know. I don't know what transpired between him and Mr. Mallikarjun Khargeji and what transpired between him and Mr. Rahul Gandhiji. But the fact remains is that one is CM, one is Deputy CM, and the other one continues to be the PCC President. That is the decision. There's no ifs and buts. There's no decision beyond this.
Now,
and both of them will have to work together to see that we get a large number of seats in 2024.
You are telling both Gehlot and Sachin to work together. Neither is working with each other. They are both attacking each other. What's the guarantee this friction or this pressure, this energy between Siddaramaiah and Shivakumar won't become Sachin and Gehlot again?
You have to wait for that and see. Rahul, you have to wait for that and see. Both of them have been working for the party. They have raised issues. They have won such a beautiful mandate. They will work together. You have to wait and see. You cannot have see, that is the reason why I'm not telling whether it is 2 years or 3 years or 2.5 years, because this 2.5 years formula has failed. It has failed in earlier states. So there's no need to again discuss that one. So for the time being, this is the decision. As and when things develop in the state, if there is a need to take some further decision, that will be taken in the days or the years to come.
Okay, since you are so close to Mr. Kharge, can you tell me what do you intend to do or hope to do in the case of Sachin Pilot and Gehlot in Rajasthan? It's getting quite embarrassing for your party. They're both attacking each other in public almost every day.
See, I'll tell you, in any state where there are groups, where there are people working against the party interest, or working in a way which is not in the interest of the party, I think the party will have to finally sit down, and we have given them enough time to settle among themselves. We try to talk to both of them and see that something has to be done. Now, if it is not working, then I think the AICC has to take a decision.
No, but obviously the AICC has to take a decision, but what can that decision be?
No, that will let you know once the decision is taken in the days to come.
But do you think it's inevitable that Sachin Pilot will leave your party? He's given you a 15-day ultimatum. There's no way that you can fulfill his wish. That essentially lead us to believe that Sachin Pilot is on his way out. He'll probably be setting up some kind of a third front.
See, we would like to have everyone in the party. We want Sachin Pilot ji to be there in the party. We want Ashok Gehlot ji to run the show there. We want everything to be there in the place. We want to get back to power again in 2023. But then if there are certain things on which we have to take a decision, I think now we are free from Karnataka and our senior leadership at the center. The High Command has started pondering over the next election going states, that is 5 states, and also the situation there. In next week or so, we will be having meetings on these 5 states, and then if there are decisions to be taken, we'll take the decisions.
I'm just trying to understand what you said, because from what I hear you say the election will be fought under Gehlot's leadership. That obviously means that it won't be under Sachin's leadership. That's a big cop-out from Sachin's perspective. So then it's kind of inevitable that at some point in time he might leave.
Rahul, see, the AICC leadership is there. They are meeting on all the 5 states. In 1 or 2 states, there could be issues that need to be sorted out. And then the AICC will have to take a call as to what has to be done. And now, since we are now free from Karnataka, we have won this state, we want this winning streak to continue in other states also. 5 states are also important for us. This will be a sort of an mini election before we get into 2024 election, parliament election. So we will deal strictly with these 5 states. We will have meetings with all the stakeholders in the state, and wherever we need to do course correction, we'll do course correction. Wherever we need to do, wherever we need to take some serious decisions, we'll take some serious decisions.
Okay, Nasir Hussain, it's been, you're saying it wasn't stressful, but I can tell our viewers it's mighty stressful the past 72 hours for people like Nasir and others who are part of Mr. Kharge's core team. They've finally been, to their credit, able to resolve this fight, at least for the time being. Now, whether it stays that way or changes, we will have to wait and see. Nasir Hussain, for joining me, thank you very much. I want to go across to Sandeep Shastri and Ramkrishna Upadhyay, part of the famous duo that was a part of the India Today post-poll election analysis team. Dr. Shastri, this was, amongst the things that you said, 1 + 1 + 1, when you came on India Today. It's almost as if they have copied and pasted and applied your formula. So he gets to be Deputy CM, is the only Deputy CM. He gets plum portfolios, and he gets to be KPCC Chief. So they basically, that just shows the power of Sandeep Shastri, that the ultimate formula is the one that you suggested.
Thank you, Rahul, for saying that. I think as part of the discussion and as an independent political commentator who looks at how things developed, when DK raised his stakes and said 5 years or nothing, it was very clear that that was a bargaining chip he was using to finally get what he was aiming at. And that's the context I said 1 + 1 + 1. Only Deputy Chief Minister, key portfolios and KPCC presidentship till the next Lok Sabha election, and that's what has been announced today. And that is a formula which sees both having accepted. Again, if you look at the photographs that are emerging, I think DK Shivakumar seems to be much more cheerful in terms of having wrested what he wanted. May not be the ultimate thing, though Mr. Siddaramaiah seems very serious, maybe that's his nature. But if you look at the optics of the two leaders, especially the scenes that you are showing alongside, it's very clear that Shivakumar was aware that he may not get the chief ministership and accepted or bargained for what ultimately happened. But now it will be interesting to see how this government works, because they have an election the next year. And I'm sure both have been told that we cannot have a repeat of 2019 in Karnataka, that they are depending on Karnataka for a lot of seats. And I think...
No, but what's your sense at this moment, as a top psephologist, what's your best sense of what Karnataka could look like in the Lok Sabha elections of 2024? You've seen the split verdict in the see voter data when they ask who do you want as PM. The BJP's vote share goes up, the Congress's vote share goes down. So if things were to pan out in the way that you see it, what could the potential seat share from Karnataka look like for both top parties?
Rahul, even in the studies that Lokniti has done, there is a similar trend, that when you look at the Lok Sabha election, the BJP's vote share goes up. What the Congress would be hoping is 1 year of governance in Karnataka would demonstrate the fulfillment of promises and would, in a Lok Sabha election, help the Congress. Now, that's going to be a huge expectation, because in the Lok Sabha election, Prime Minister Modi is going to be in the forefront of the campaign. And let's remember, last time around in 2019, the acceptance rate of Siddaramaiah's government in 2019 was 90%. And still, the Congress was not able to get a majority of seats.
Now, Nalin Kohli, does this concern you that the Prime Minister staked so much of his personal prestige when he campaigned in Karnataka, that at some level this aura of invincibility that the Prime Minister carried, that he could come in and do a Rinku Singh, come in and hit lots of balls out of the park, help the BJP win from a hopeless situation, that aura of invincibility is shattered. While the BJP may still believe it, the opposition now starts to think that, hey, Modi is not a demigod, we can, if we get our act together, take on the BJP. This is not impossible. So this rampaging Ashwamedh Yagna, this idea that the BJP would just win and the Congress would just capitulate, now the congressmen don't seem to buy it, and those who support the Congress ideology too think, okay, maybe we can beat the BJP.
Lots of metaphors in that, Rahul. Ashwamedh Yagna and all that. So I'll compliment you for the way you phrased it. But coming back to the core or the substance of what your query was, I don't agree with that, and for several reasons. How has Prime Minister Modi's popularity gone down? The visuals are there for you to see. I'm sure your channel covered it as much as others. Number two, Prime Minister, this was not an election on him. This same question will be relevant for someone, and I believe not the BJP, in 2024, in May. Then third is what I said at the beginning of the program, that Prime Minister Modi, if you have to judge his popularity, how come the vote share hasn't fallen? So it raises a question that the vote share, if normal conventional psephology would say, if a government is not performing well, people are angry with the government, then how is the vote share remaining identical? So therefore, I have a counter narrative to this that shows that the BJP has held ground not as expected or as being projected by others. Number two, the vote dynamics has changed in Karnataka between the JDU, JDS, other players, and the Congress, which has gained from that dynamic. So it's taken them to a very clear and good mandate for them. Now they have to perform. With every mandate, winning the mandate is easy. Retaining the mandate is difficult, and I think Prime Minister Modi has shown he got a historic mandate in 14 and he got an equally historic in 19. Not just retained, but bettered it. So I think we will fight on our report card, and I do believe that if the Congress and other parties wish to begin their early celebrations for 2024, honestly, I would welcome that.
Okay.
So that they can keep congratulating themselves while the BJP, its Karyakarta and leaders are doing the work as they always do.
Now Ramakrishna Upadhyay, your best sense of whether this Shivaramaiah duo, Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah, can work together in the next 5 years? Or do you think it's only a matter of time before this becomes Sachin Gehlot redux?
Rahul, thank you for coming to me at last. I've been waiting patiently. You know, I was carefully watching what Nasir Hussain was saying. I mean, he was totally evasive about this formula of power sharing. And I believe that, you know, it is not written in stone and probably is not going to work, because Siddaramaiah was very, very particular that he is not going to share power and he wants 5 years term. And in fact, he made it very clear that during the campaign, people wanted him to be the chief minister. And his point is, he is the man who has been elected by the people, and he is not going to share power with Siddaramaiah, with Shivakumar. So that is point number one. Number two, there is a trust deficit between the two, which you have noticed in 2013 also. When Siddaramaiah took over as chief minister the first time, he didn't include DK Shivakumar in the cabinet.
What was his reason for keeping Shivakumar away at that time?
Well, there were allegations of corruption against him, and Siddaramaiah wanted to give a clean government. That is what the promise he came with. And then finally, it was because of the intervention of the High Command that, you know, Siddaramaiah and Roshan Beg came into the cabinet. So there is already a trust deficit between the two. And after what has happened in the last 3-4 days, I'm sure, you know, that wounds would have, you know, really opened up some more. So now we'll have to see what, the cabinet portfolios that DK Shivakumar will get. Because Siddaramaiah has to give it to a lot of other people as well. A lot of seniors have been elected to this assembly, and he has to ensure that MP Patil gets something important, and he has to ensure that Tanveer Seth gets something important. And there are so many people who are waiting to get good, important portfolios. He can't give everything to Shivakumar. So Shivakumar, if he wants to have Bangalore development, I don't think that will happen, because every chief minister has kept Bangalore, because they want to have control over the capital. So, and what is left for him? Maybe water resources. Okay, he might get the water resources, but then he may want, you know, important portfolios for his, supporters as well. So it's going to be a friction from day one, unless, you know, DK Shivakumar is able to work out some way as to how these things work out. And then finally, I also have to point out that there are people who have been elected and they will not be able to get, like R.V. Deshpande. He's a 9-time MLA, or Ramalinga Reddy, 8-time MLA. And these are people who are likely to be kept out and told that you please, contest the Lok Sabha election. Because they do need candidates for Lok Sabha elections as well, which is just about 10-11 months away. And some of them will be kept out on that pretext. So,
no, why will they be kept out? Why will the seniors not get a ministerial portfolio, you think?
Because there are so many claimants. And it's not going to be easy for Siddaramaiah to please everyone. And he has to look at the regional representation, he has to look at the caste representation, and when you look at all these things, some of them will have to be left out, and they will be fielded in Lok Sabha.
To the Congress's credit, they've been able to sort out problem number one, which is to get these two to agree to a formula. The second part is now to govern. Ultimately, it's the people's mandate. These 135 seats are for good governance. Can they deliver on that crucial count? The jury's out on that. Let's see what happens. For the time being, I want to thank all our guests for joining us on the Newstrack. Saturday is the big swearing in. We'll keep tracking what happens in Karnataka and its impact on the forthcoming assembly elections.